What if I told you that the person you marry has more impact on your wealth than your career choice? KevinO'Leary believes this is true. He also says only 1 in 3 people have the traits to succeed as entrepreneurs. And here's another shock. Women-led companies hit their targets 90% of the time, while most male-led companies fail. Today, I'm breaking down the exact battle-tested rules KevinO'Leary inherited from his mother and refined alongside Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. Rules that shattered his view of money forever. These principles came from the recently released video from the Diary of a CEO on YouTube. I'll sum it up in less than 15 minutes. The first lesson came from an unexpected source and changed how O'Leary thinks about investing. Most people think wealth comes from picking winning stocks or timing the market. KevinO'Leary's mother proved them wrong with a simple rule that made her rich. She never read financial magazines or followed stock tips from friends. Instead, she built a fortune with a basic system that anyone could follow. She consistently invested 20% of her income into dividend-paying large caps and 7-year telecom bonds every month. No fancy trading, no stock tips from friends. She bought the same investments month after month, year after year. The strategy looked boring compared to what other people were doing in the stock market. But here's the twist. She never put more than 5% of her money in one stock, and never more than 20% in any one sector. This sounds boring, but it worked. Her portfolio stayed balanced even when individual stocks crashed or entire sectors fell apart. She never had to worry about losing everything on one bad investment. She held that portfolio for 55 years, never touching principal, only reinvesting dividends to put her kids through school. While other people lost money chasing hot stocks, she built steady wealth. Her portfolio grew year after year without the stress of market crashes. During the tech bubble burst and again through the 2008 meltdown, her dividends kept rolling in while day traders panicked. This strategy became the foundation of O'Leary's entire investment approach. He watched his mother create generational wealth with discipline, not luck. The power wasn't in finding the perfect investment. It was in following a system that protected her from big losses while capturing steady gains. O'Leary learned that boring investing beats exciting investing every time. But his mother's lesson about discipline went beyond investing. It shaped how he viewed another popular path to wealth that most people get completely wrong. Many people think they should start a business. KevinO'Leary believes most people are wrong about this dream. The problem is that entrepreneurship looks easy from the outside. You see successful business owners and think you can do the same thing. But O'Leary says most people don't have what it takes to be entrepreneurs. In fact, O'Leary teaches at Harvard that only 1/3 of the class has the appetite and discipline to build a business. 2/3 become consultants or employees. They lack 3 key traits that you need to succeed. First is risk tolerance. You have to be okay with losing everything you put into the business. Second is laser focus. You can't get distracted by other opportunities when things get hard. Third is an obsession with freedom. You have to hate taking orders from other people. For me, I've never taken a job in my entire life. I am self-employed. I started a video production business called Azure Production Incorporated right out of post-secondary. Freedom over job stability has always been what I'm used to. I could never work for someone else. O'Leary realized there are 2 types of people in the world, those who own the store and those who scrape the floor. But O'Leary warns that this realization doesn't come to everyone. Most people are comfortable taking orders and getting a steady paycheck. There's nothing wrong with this, but it's not entrepreneurship. O'Leary believes the entrepreneurial path requires giving up security for uncertainty. You have to be willing to fail and lose everything you worked for. And like Napoleon's favorite generals, you need a dash of luck. The truth is harsh, but helpful. Understanding whether you're built for entrepreneurship can save you years of frustration and financial loss. But even if you have these traits, success requires something most people never master. Steve Jobs had a secret weapon that most people never learned. It wasn't technology or design. It was his ability to ignore almost everything. Jobs would sit down each morning and write out only 3 to 5 critical tasks that needed to be done in the next 18 hours. Everything else was noise that had to be eliminated. This created what O'Leary calls the 80-20 signal-to-noise ratio. Jobs spent 80% of his time on signal, the tasks that actually mattered. He would look at his list and ask one question: does this help me complete one of my 5 critical tasks? If the answer was no, he would cut it from his schedule. Jobs protected his signal time ruthlessly. He would fire off emails at 2:30 a.m. demanding replies, showing how he maximized every productive hour. Meetings, phone calls, and requests that didn't serve his critical tasks were cut. Jobs would cancel meetings that other people thought were important. He would ignore emails that seemed urgent. He protected his time like it was the most valuable resource in the world. O'Leary points out that Musk pushes even further. Every waking hour is laser-focused on 3 to 5 tasks. This extreme focus is what separates great leaders from average ones. Most people spend their days drowning in noise. They answer every email, attend every meeting, and wonder why they never accomplish anything important. As an investor or real estate pro, list your next 3 must-win deals and ruthlessly say no to anything that interrupts them. The signal-to-noise principle applies to CEOs, founders, and anyone serious about performance. You must identify what matters most and ignore the rest. When you focus on signal over noise, you start achieving results that seemed impossible before. But O'Leary discovered something unexpected when he applied this focused approach to analyzing his investment portfolio. The data revealed something that challenged his assumptions completely. Companies led by women were consistently outperforming those led by men. The pattern appeared across multiple investments in his portfolio. Female-led companies had better financial results, but O'Leary wanted to understand why this was happening. He started looking at how these companies operated day to day. He found that women set more realistic targets for their businesses. They didn't promise impossible growth rates or make wild projections to impress investors. Female leaders often aimed for growth rates around 15 to 16%. Male-led companies often set targets as high as 30%. Women-led companies hit their growth targets over 90% of the time versus about 65% for men. This difference in goal setting created a more stable work environment. Teams were more likely to meet their objectives when the goals were achievable. Female leaders also had much lower employee turnover rates. Their teams stayed longer and worked more effectively together. This stability reduced the costs that come with hiring and training new workers. Teams that stayed together longer developed better working relationships. They could focus on getting results instead of constantly adjusting to new team members. O'Leary noticed that women demonstrated superior listening and communication skills. They gathered more information before making decisions. This led to more informed choices that helped their companies succeed. Female leaders took time to understand what their teams needed. They asked more questions and listened to the answers carefully. But here's the key insight. O'Leary doesn't hire based on gender, race, or resume. He hires based on execution and results. His hiring mandate requires candidates to work 4 to 6 months as contractors before full hire, so he never bets on resume alone. The lesson isn't about gender. It's about recognizing talent and execution ability wherever you find it. This focus on execution extends beyond hiring decisions. O'Leary applies the same ruthless standards to personal spending habits that most people completely ignore. O'Leary watched someone spend $28 on lunch and realized they were throwing away their financial future without knowing it. That single meal cost more than most people invest in a day. The person eating that lunch probably didn't think twice about the expense. They saw it as a normal cost of working downtown or treating themselves to something nice. Small expenses add up to massive wealth destruction over time. That $28 lunch happens every day, creating a pattern of lifestyle inflation. If you spend $28 on lunch 5 days a week, that's $140 per week. Over a year, you're spending $7,280 on lunch alone. Investing that $7,280 per year at 8 to 10% returns would create $1.5 million by retirement. That's the real cost of expensive lunches. O'Leary's solution is simple but powerful. Make coffee at home, avoid expensive lunches, and stop upgrading your lifestyle with every raise. When you get a promotion or salary increase, most people immediately find ways to spend the extra money. They buy a nicer car, move to a bigger apartment, or start eating at more expensive restaurants. This keeps them broke no matter how much they earn. He recommends using technology to automate your investing. Set up ETFs to buy automatically, and follow the 15% salary rule for investments. O'Leary built an app called Beanstocks to help people allocate 15% of their salary into S&P 500 ETFs and telecom bonds. This ties back to his mother's system of consistent, diversified investing. 8 out of 10 startups fail. Similarly, investors who chase stock tips underperform a simple index fund. O'Leary emphasizes understanding exactly how much money you spend. Track every expense and never outspend yourself in any 30 or 60-day cycle. This practice helps you build real wealth over time through awareness and control. But financial discipline means nothing without the ability to project strength when it matters most. Before you say a single word, people already know if you're a winner or a loser. O'Leary believes this judgment happens in seconds. He has watched thousands of entrepreneurs walk into rooms to pitch their ideas. The successful ones have something different about them. They carry themselves in a way that makes people pay attention. The test is simple but brutal. Can you project confidence with your eyes? Can you maintain eye contact and show strength through your body language? O'Leary watches how entrepreneurs hold themselves when they enter a room. Do they look around nervously, or do they make direct eye contact? Do they stand tall, or do they slouch? These details matter more than most people think. O'Leary and his camera crew use a 2-minute silent stare test to size up contestants before filming begins. The successful ones have a presence that fills the room before they speak. This presence signals to others that they are ready to lead and capable of executing their plans. It's not about being loud or trying to impress people. It's about having quiet confidence that comes from knowing your business inside and out. Try his mirror exercise. Stand silently for 60 seconds, staring at your reflection to toughen your gaze. This builds the mental strength needed for high-pressure situations. But confidence without substance is worthless. Real leaders know their numbers cold. Market size, growth rate, gross margin, customer acquisition cost. O'Leary doesn't care if you're likable. He says likable means nothing if you don't command respect through competence and presence. The entrepreneurs who succeed can answer any question about their business instantly. They've done the work and know every detail. Those who don't know their numbers deserve to fail, according to O'Leary. Ignorance of your own business is unforgivable. This combination of confidence and competence creates the aura of success. People can sense it immediately and want to follow leaders who have it. But even the strongest leaders must face one uncomfortable truth about the path to success. O'Leary's final principle might be the most important: fail young, fail cheap. Most people are terrified of failure, but O'Leary sees it differently. He believes failure is part of the learning process. Young entrepreneurs need to burn a few years failing before they can succeed. The key is failing when you have time to recover. O'Leary recommends launching your first business in your early to mid-20s. You need to learn from mistakes when the stakes are low. At this age, you don't have a mortgage or kids to support. You can afford to lose money and start over. If you wait until your 30s or 40s, failure becomes much more expensive. The strategy is simple. Go work 24 months in a field you love, even for free, to apprentice, then launch. You'll burn failures early while stakes are low. This gives you a baseline understanding of the industry and increases your probability of success. O'Leary suggests working under someone successful to gain real knowledge before starting your own venture. Focus becomes everything. You can't succeed at multiple things simultaneously. Pick one area and become obsessed with execution. Most entrepreneurs spread themselves too thin across different ventures. This makes it harder to succeed at any one thing. O'Leary emphasizes that you only need one success to change your life. 6 to 8 out of 10 startups fail, so you need a diversified portfolio of bets. He views failure as an integral part of the entrepreneurial process. These setbacks are stepping stones to eventual success. The signal is everything. Stay focused on what matters most and ignore all the noise that tries to distract you. This principle ties together all of O'Leary's teachings. Success comes from discipline, focus, and the willingness to fail until you succeed. These 7 principles from Kevin O'Leary challenge everything most people believe about money and success. Surprise takeaway: your spouse choice matters more than your day job. Financial stress is a leading cause of divorce, making partner selection crucial for wealth building. The path to wealth isn't what you think. Start with your mother's boring investment strategy, understand if you're really cut out for entrepreneurship, and focus on signal over noise. Stop wasting money on small expenses and project confidence through competence, not charm. His final verdict: mastery over money demands discipline, ruthless prioritization, and a willingness to fail until you win. If you're ready to apply these rules today, then watch our next video on how mortgage investment corporations can grow your money.